So everybody, it's happened. DSP has gone full Nazbol. He has adopted a 10-year plan. And he's done. So everybody, it's happened.
Oops,
DSP
sorry,
has
let me
gone
just-
full Nazbol.
Let me just stop the
He has
boomer shit
adopted a
for a
10-year
second.
plan.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so there's a 10-year plan. Stalin, he's outdone Stalin. Stalin only had 5-year plans, but in honor of Dave going Nazbol, he's outdone Stalin. Stalin only had 5-year plans.
Okay, where is that audio coming for? Sorry, Boomer RJ.
Outdone Stalin. Stalin only had 5-year plans.
Okay, where is that audio coming for?
Oh,
Sorry,
Twitch. Okay, right.
Boomer RJ.
Okay. So Stalin only managed 5-year plans, whereas DSP has a 10-year plan. So in honor of DSP going full Nazbol and outdoing Stalin, there's a little song I would like to sing before we begin this. Let's see here. United forever in friendship and labor, our mighty republics will ever endure. The great Soviet Union will live through the ages, the dream of a people, their fortress secure. Long live our Soviet motherland, built by the people's mighty hands. Long live our homeland, united and free. We fought for the future, destroyed the invader, and brought to our homeland the laurels of fame. Our glory will live in the memory of nations, and all generations will honor our name. There we go. That's probably enough. Anyways, I just had to do that, and that'll serve as an introduction. So, Dave apparently had a heart-to-heart with his mother, and his mother basically just told him, "You gotta stop. You have to stop. You have to move on with your life, Phil." And that thing. So we're gonna break this down. This video is only like 20 minutes long, but it'll probably take us a while because there's just so much nonsense. Thank you, Rafa Elza. That subscription's going straight to the bills. I was singing in honor of DSP's 10-year plan because he's outdone Stalin. He's gone full Nazbol. Stalin only had a 5-year plan. DSP has a 10-year plan. So let us begin with that really clickbaity title. Let me know if the audio balance is okay.
Balls. Tip me $2. Says I'll watch you till you're 100. That's a promise here for you, DSP. Also, are you scared or nervous of getting older? I am, and I'm almost 28 in a couple of days. Sure, we all are. I'll be honest with you guys. The last few years, I've noticed a few changes and things with my body, and you get a little scared about that shit. But then you find out, you look into it, and you're like, it's perfectly natural. When you get older, things happen. So you don't freak out. And, that's life. You get older. So we did them all, and then we went to my parents' house. All right. And this probably was one of the nicest things because my parents and I just had a really honest talk about how everything's going.
True and
basically
honest.
My mom said to me, a couple things. All right. And I'm not going to reveal every single thing.
Okay, in chat, I want people to say as we're going through this, is Phil being honest or is he lying? Does any of this sound legitimate?
Thing that was said. I have a lot of things that I agree with and I disagree with my parents. We are very different people, very, very, very different people. If you met my parents, you'd be like, "You're Phil's dad and mom." They're not like me. I became an individual very different from them over the years.
Honestly, his parents sound kind of base. His mother's been harassing him for like the last 15 years to get married and have kids.
Independent attitudes and things that night and day in a lot of ways. Although in a lot of ways I'm similar. I'm a stubborn person. My mom is insanely stubborn. She believes that what she thinks is right and is wrong. My mom did not agree with me leaving Connecticut at all. She wanted me to stay in Connecticut my whole life. Even
Of course she didn't, because it was retarded for you to leave Connecticut.
Told her a million reasons why I didn't want to leave. I had to get out of there. I hated it, and it was too expensive. Like a million reasons why I wanted to get out. She always wanted me, to stay. with her, well, with my parents, so that they could be close by or whatever. I told them a million times, then move with me, move with me to a better place.
Move with me. So he wanted his parents to move across the country with him so they could continue to wait on him hand and foot and keep cleaning his house. Keep in mind, this dude is so lazy, he made his parents fly across the country to clean his house for him.
Get out of the ghetto that you live in. You can't be there your whole life. You can't be in a situation where you go outside, you could get shot. But they don't listen. They don't listen.
My understanding is this is actually somewhat true. People in Connecticut have told me, I think it's Bridgeport where his parents live, is really shitty. So that's not made up.
It's set in their ways and they do what they want. So basically it started off the conversation was that my mom wanted to pay for Kat and I to go on a honeymoon.
I don't know if I believe this. This sounds really, really contrived. This sounds like a pity me thing.
All right. And there were no specific discussions about any of that. Or like where would it be or whatever. But basically I told my mom, I said, I appreciate that. That's amazing. And quite frankly, I doubt Kat and I will ever be able to go on a honeymoon together. Just being very honest, at this point, unless I get myself out of the financial rut I'm in, there was no way that I would be able to go. But never. I told her, being straight up honest with you, and this is Kat and I had talked about this previously, it's a no-go. We can't go on a honeymoon. I'm in a situation where I can't take time away from work. Already this week that I was away for be with my parents and for the wedding.
Okay, press 1 if something resembling this conversation happened. Press 2 if Phil made this entire thing up.
Already I had probably lost thousands of dollars that I would have made on the streams and the videos on YouTube. And that's money I need to pay my bills. And
pay my bills.
I'm not in a financially feasible situation where I can take time away from work in a significant amount.
Okay, there we go. Drive check in the chat is saying Bridgeport is a shitty ghetto.
Time anytime soon. We're talking years now, probably before I'll be in a better financial position where maybe I can do that.
Okay.
So I told her straight up front. I said, not possible. Honeymoon can't. You could promise us this, and I probably will never be able to take it. Okay, but my financial situation.
Just a side note, I can only imagine how bad DSP's teeth are because he chugs multiple Mountain Dew kickstarts every day, and that's like. Not only is it just pop, so it's bad for you, but those are big things, and they have a lot of sugar and shit in them. So. Yeah, that's not going to be very good.
And basically, I told her about everything that's been going on here over the last few weeks. How I've been doing multiple marathon streams.
Yeah, Phil's parents are Republicans, I'm pretty sure. He went to a Catholic school. I think his mother, at least, is fairly religious.
How much money I had raised, and based off of what my tax guy had told me, here's what's left. And then... By the way, the tax guy is going to bill me this much for doing my taxes. He's going to bill me this much to try to get me on the payment plan. I basically gave her all the financials of everything. All right? And,
thank you on
sitting
Twitch.
there,
thank you,
having this honest
Soma.
conversation, my mom said,
I appreciate it.
Well, here's the deal. She's like, I need you to commit to a fact that you're going to do some life changes.
No, I don't believe
this. In the short term and the long term.
This sounds like nonsense.
Because you can't keep going like this. She looked at me and she's like, you're happy? But I can tell that you're running yourself ragged. I can tell that you are working yourself to the bone, Kat as well. And every time I call you or every time we talk on the weekends, you tell me about how the whole week is work. You never tell.
It's tough with Phil because he's very good at. I don't know. It's somebody once said Phil is Dindu smart. Where he's pretty dumb overall, but when it comes to like scamming people or stuff like that, he's good at that. But he's not very good in general. This is like, I admit I am extremely gullible, and people who have known me IRL know I'm very gullible, and I tend to believe what people say. And I admit I kind of got taken in a bit when I first watched this. I kind of was like, oh, okay, maybe Phil's finally turning his life around. I know it's stupid. I know I shouldn't think that way, but it's hard for me.
Tell me that you get to spend time with Kat because you don't, right? and this is not the life that you're going to be able to live for your whole life. She's like, what are you going to do, when you're 50, 60 years old?
By the way, if anyone would like to contribute to my tax bill, please, there's a link to the Streamlabs donation below.
And you think people are going to still want to tune into your stream all day long? I mean, yeah, maybe I could still do like a
Sorry, let me
part-time.
go back a bit.
Tell me about how the whole week is work. You never tell me that you get to spend time with Kat, because you don't, right? And this is not the life that you're going to be able to live for your whole life. She's like, what are you going to do, when you're 50, 60 years old? And you think people are going to still want to tune into your stream all day long?
I don't know. Like, Ricotta Law makes a shit ton of money off of this. The Great War, that guy does it for a living. Coach Red Pill does it for a living. I mean, there's lots of older people who do YouTube. I mean, if you're entertaining or informed, or like, there's lots of reasons why people would listen to an older YouTuber. Like, take me, for example. I have a lot of viewers who are teenagers, and they will come, they say, Arjun, I really appreciate your videos about mental health or whatever. You gave me good advice. I went and got treatment. I'm feeling better about myself. Or some of the things you've said about money, or about like respecting your parents, or that kind of thing. So, like, there's no reason that people wouldn't listen to an older YouTuber. The issue is Phil's just boring, and he doesn't have anything to offer.
I mean, yeah, maybe I could still do like a part-time stream, but no, who's going to want to sit watching a 60-year-old guy play video games all day, right? In addition to that, you're killing yourself.
I don't know if the guy's like fun to watch. Sure, that's the issue. I don't think it, like, I get what he's saying, kind of, but at the same time, I think if you are actually talented and people actually like you, then I don't think it really matters.
Financially, because you have all these situations going on with the finances behind the scenes of everything. You're killing yourself to even make ends meet and pay your bills. How are you going to you can't. She's like, you worked yourself to your limits. You can't keep going the way you're going. If you keep doing it, you're going to have health problems.
This sounds like DSP just putting words in his mother's mouth. This sounds like, this whole thing just sounds made up.
Look at us. Look at your father and me. We are at 60 years old and are having these health problems where we could go in any day. So essentially, we had this very long and important conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay. And where it ended up was a few things. The first is, I realized, guys, I can't do this forever. I know that. And by the way, don't worry. It doesn't mean I'm quitting doing this anytime soon. I love it. But I know, realistically, how long can I do this? I can't do this forever.
Oh, now he's saying it. Now, I just like you to keep this in mind. He's saying, I can't do this forever. I'm going to have to stop at some point in time. I'm going to, like, have to put it off. Now, here's the thing. And if you know anything about politics, if you know anything about how governments are run, one of the main ways that they screw the public and that they cheat them is they say, we're going to do this like 10 years from now. And this is especially true if you live in a city and there's infrastructure projects. Like in Toronto, since I was born, they've been working on Union Station in Toronto, and they're like, guys, it's going to be done in the next 10 years. Okay, it's going to be done in the next 5. Okay, just give us another 10 years. It's going to be even better. Now, we're going to build that downtown relief line. We've started construction, and it's going to be done by 2030 or maybe 2040. And there's that. There's balancing the budget is another good meme. We're like, we'll balance the budget 5 years from now. It'll totally be balanced, guys. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. And the issue with that is there's no way to hold them accountable, because you can't really say they didn't do it until the date comes and goes. And the term of a lot of these politicians is only like 4 years in office. So let's say you promise you're going to build like the subway or whatever. It's going to be done 20 years from now, and then your government lasts 12, then you can blame the next guy for not getting done. And this is what constantly happens with just about anything. I have an expression. If something's in writing, if the shovel isn't in the ground, it doesn't exist. Until you see like someone actually digging the tunnel or someone actually paying out the money, then yeah, I don't buy this. Because as I said, as we were to see, he's like, in 10 years I'm going to get a job. Well, there's no way to hold him to account. His parents could be dead, he could be dead. Something else could happen. Like, this guy's life changes on a monthly basis. There's no way for us to know. Like, so people will give him money and we have no way of knowing if he's actually going to use it or what actually is going to happen.
She has a point. What could I do? Maybe another 10 years? Top 15 tops? Would people care when I'm 50 years old playing fucking video games? You know what I mean? And not to say that I couldn't try to diversify and do other things with my streaming.
No, you won't, because you're a lazy asshole.
But I certainly don't think that it's going to be something people are going to want to tune into when I'm an older dude. You know, it's a younger generation. You know, they're not going to want to see me doing that stuff when I'm older. So in reality,
no, people don't want to see you because you suck. It's not because of your age. I mean, some people, like, a lot of these personalities are getting older. Like, I think Andy Worski's like 38 now. A lot of them are like in their late 30s, and a lot of these people still have an audience. Like I said, Ricotta Law gets a shit ton of views, and he gets a ton of donations. And he does YouTube part-time, obviously. His main job is a lawyer, but he probably makes like a couple $100 a stream. Thank you, Savage Lars. Savage Lars says, look, Hitcock45 is old, and he has millions of subs. The Mighty Jingles has a shit ton of other stuff like that. And, like, there's plenty of older people. The thing is that, and this is going to be a big secret, Hitcock45 is knowledgeable and likable. He has that, like, grandfatherly charm.
What she's basically saying is that I need to not quit what I do, but I do in the long term need to figure out.
Yeah, Jim is like 40 something now.
What else am I going to do? And she's right. I agree with her after thinking about it. Being completely honest with everyone. What I need to do.
Okay, someone else puts out AVGN has gotten older, and he's still big. He still gets like millions of views on a video, and he's branched out and he's doing other stuff now. Like, he did Board James, he does like movie reviews, now he does like all kinds of different stuff, and he's diversified his content, and things seem to be going pretty well for him still.
To kind of do is get myself to a financial situation where I don't have to work all day on stream.
Doug Walker didn't crash and burn because of his getting older. It crashed and burned because of his bad decisions.
Maybe where I can do like, all right, my finances are in a situation where now I don't owe so much that I have to literally make a ridiculous amount of money to pay the minimum payments on everything. And so that way I can stream less and I can maybe go.
Okay, but the thing is, and I'm actually going to take a perspective that might irritate a lot of people. Phil shouldn't get another job. Like I said, another job he gets is not going to pay anywhere near this amount. We've looked at this. People have done analysis. He probably makes 80 to 100 grand a year. There's no chance that it would take him decades to get a job that pays anywhere near what he's making, if he ever could. Lots of people don't even make $60,000 after years working at a job. And I always have to add 30% to these because I'm Canadian and the American dollar is much higher. Like, if I was to switch jobs at my point where I have like 5 years of experience and I'm pretty good at my job, I would make top $60,000 Canadian. So, like, if Phil leaves and he tries to get another, it's just not going to work. There's really no reason to try to go at this point. If Phil had been financially responsible by this point in time, he should have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. He should have, like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars in index funds and stocks and savings. He should be rolling in dough. If he had only lived like a decent, he didn't have to live like a monk. He doesn't have to like not have anything, but he could have just gotten a nice but modest apartment, maybe something that's like $1,200 a month or something, and bank the rest of the money. He doesn't have a lot of costs that other people do. He doesn't have to drive to work. He doesn't have to buy work clothing. There's a lot of expenses associated with working that he doesn't have. But, yeah.
Go get a job that's an entry-level job that pays less than what I make streaming, but it won't matter because I won't owe all this debt to everyone and I won't need to make that much money anymore. You see what
I won't need to make that much money. So the logic here is if I pay off my debt, then I'll willingly make less money for no reason. I mean, like, what kind of logic is that? It's like, okay, I'm making $100,000. That would be like a doctor saying, okay, I've paid off my student loans. I'm going to take a pay cut of 60% just because I paid off my student. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, but that's not a short-term thing. There's no overnight fix to you owe less money to the world. You see what I mean? So this is something that's going to come in time where maybe, again, maybe within 10 years, I can fix things financially behind the scenes where I'm not bleeding every month financially.
But once again, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like he's never gonna make as much money. Like he has 486 subs. So let's just do a bit of math. So a sub is approximately, well, some of them are special stubs. So we'll just say he has 500 times 2.5. So he makes $1,250 a month just in subs. So just think about that for a minute. Not including tips, not including YouTube money, not including Patreon. So what would a minimum wage job pay? Let me see. What is the minimum wage in Washington? $12 per hour. It's going up pretty rapidly. So we'll say that it's 13.5. So 13.5 times 40 times 4. Okay, so if he worked a full-time minimum wage job, he'd make $2,200 a month. So it's just, it doesn't make financial sense.
And I can stream less and I can go get another job and balance my life with that. And not to say, again, I don't want to quit doing this. I will do this. As long as it's within my power, guys, I will stream and share my daily gameplay and just fun experiences and interactions with you guys as long as I can, as long as people care. But nothing's forever. Nothing lasts forever. And my mom's right. She's like, you're going to be our age. How are you going to be fucking doing this at 60? Look at us. We could barely move. And you're going to be doing this at 60? You're out of your mind. And she's right.
Okay, bring up his dying
So basically,
parents.
I think that's what it's going to be is in the next 10 years or so, once I finally get myself in a situation where financially it's not so bad, I'm going to look to get another job of some sort. And it's going to be work because I've been out of the job market for 10 years almost. And it's going to be probably another 10 years. You know what I mean? Before I can make those changes, but I'm going to have to. Okay? The other thing is, and my mom's absolutely right, she says you just can't keep doing what you're doing anymore. Like, if you literally cannot pay your bills, something's got to give. So, as afraid as I am of if I don't pay a certain thing, I'll ruin my credit or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. At this point, there's no alternative. You know what I mean? Like, basically, Kat and I sat down this week and talked a lot. And we were like, if I can't pay these taxes and we have to sell the house.
Getting a job is really hard. Like, even if you have recent experience, even if you're good at it, even if you have, like, positive references, etc., it's still very hard to get a decent professional job. it depends on your industry, obviously, but it's difficult. It can take a long time.
What happens? Well, number one, we have to get another place, and my credit's not good. It's not. My credit's bad because I have so much outstanding debt. I doubt I would even qualify for a background check or whatever to get an apartment, or I definitely can't buy another house. No one's going to finance a mortgage for me. So it would have to be renting, and I don't even know if I would pass the renter's path because my credit sucks. Okay? Feasibly, how would I move?
I love how he bitches about his bad credit. Dude, you don't deserve good credit. Good credit comes from people who pay off shit. You never pay anything off.
Move. I don't have money for it. I don't have money to move my stuff. I don't have time. I have to work my ass off to make minimum payments on everything. How am I going to have time to move? You know, that's a lot of work. Finding a real estate agent, renovating the house so it's ready for sale, selling all the shit in the house. I have no time to do any of it.
It's so
Cat's
bad.
working too. We don't have time.
You don't have time.
So the reality of it is this. The reality of it is this. I have to make concrete changes that will ruin my credit in order to save the situation. I cannot leave this house, period. This house is where I work. This house is where the business is.
Like, this guy's such a lazy fuck, he hasn't taken down the decorations yet.
That makes me money. And this is the primary concern, is keeping this house, because if I lose this house, okay, then that means that I can't work. Okay? I might not be able to get the internet I need to stream every day. I might not be able to do the work that I do in an office.
His house is the only place in the world with internet. No other place in the world has internet. Keep in mind, this dude has 2 internet connections. That's an example of, like, just how crazy he is.
A setting that's this quality. Okay? So, it's just simple. As of now, my primary focus is this house and paying this mortgage and keeping the electricity and all that on. And whether that means that my credit gets permanently destroyed because I'm not paying the mortgage in Connecticut, or I'm not paying credit cards, or whatever it may be, so be it. Because this is the important thing. And eventually what's going to happen, depending on what happens, how much I can afford and the like, is probably eventually that condo that I have in Connecticut that's a money pit that I can't get rid of and I can't rent and I can't sell, they're going to get foreclosed. They're going to foreclose on it and take it out of my name. And that's going to be a tremendous financial burden off of me. It's going to be at the expense of my credit. But at this point, I don't see another way out. The other thing with the credit cards is I know that with certain credit card companies, you can call and negotiate and say, listen, I'm in a bad financial position right now. I'm just in dire straits. I have a ridiculous amount of back taxes I owe the federal government and that I can't pay them. So obviously
Once again, like, did he just not pay? How did he pay taxes before last year federally? We never heard him complain about federal taxes before, like, a year and a half ago.
Can't pay you anymore. Because if I don't pay the back taxes, they're just going to start taking my money, and you're going to get nothing. So what I need to do is negotiate with these credit card companies and say, I can pay half of what you actually want, but you have to lower my interest rates to make that affordable, so that the card doesn't just keep racking up and never get paid down. So basically, I have to do all this stuff. I have to abandon a property in Connecticut. I have to negotiate with credit card companies, and this is going to permanently fuck my credit up. Like, I know, because I used to work for a finance company, Wells Fargo, where we would try to give mortgages and refinances, and if you had foreclosure on someone's credit report, you can't even talk to them for like 10 years. After 10 years, maybe we'll consider talking to you again. You got foreclosure, can't talk to you. Okay? And I don't know if I negotiate with credit card companies, I don't know if they're going to report that on my credit report as, oh, he's not paying, or, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's defaulting on the minimum payments or whatever. Because they might say on paper, okay, we won't harass you if you pay this much. That doesn't mean they're not going to report that to the credit agency as he's not paying the minimum expected of him. Okay?
But he isn't. Like, he says it like this is some kind of, like, mystery.
So at this point,
how did he think paying his taxes on a credit card was a good idea? Like, maybe I'm dumb. Do people do that? Like, am I stupid for thinking that that's, like, a weird thing to do? I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just, like, privileged or something.
Really what I have to do, and I committed to my mother that I'm doing it. I said, I will commit to you, Mom, that I'm going to do this because you're right. There's no way to pay everything anymore. And, you know, I have a wife. We have a life together. You know what I mean? And we have to make these changes because we can't keep going this way until something goes wrong. I was so afraid.
But stuff goes wrong all the time.
This year of losing my house because I thought I'm going to have to sell my house to pay my taxes. I realized I can't sell my house. If I sell my house, I can't work. This is the place I have to keep. Everything else goes to shit.
He can't work. He can't play video games anywhere else. It's a like I have a laptop. I can do work on the train. I can do work like if I'm driving somewhere and well if someone else is driving. If I'm driving somewhere with somebody else, I could do work at home. You can basically stream video games anywhere.
Shit. This is the place I have to fucking keep. Okay? So, after this long... I mean, this was hours. This conversation was hours. Alright? After this long conversation with my parents...
Have you noticed that his father hasn't been mentioned once? Yeah.
Parents. Finally, basically my mom said, well, since you can't go on the honeymoon, you know, how much do you need to get on this payment plan for these taxes and basically not get completely screwed over? I told her. She gave me the money. So, essentially... the reason that right now I'm going to be able to get on a payment plan.
Okay, none of this seems true. Like, here's the thing to keep it like let's say your kid, let's say you're that age and your son gets in like a traffic accident, he fucks up his back and he can't afford it. Like that makes sense to me that if you're the parent, you help out financially. I don't think there's any shame in taking money from your parents. Like if you get a severe medical problem and you can't make it, if your house burns down maybe and the insurance doesn't cover all of it, those are things where there's nothing like wrong or immoral about taking money from your parents in those situations. However, this is him bailing out. This is him wanting his parents to bail him out for his horrible decisions that they told him not to do. And they're old, retired, and have financial issues. And they're probably giving him, like, their life savings. They might have taken out additional mortgages on their house. This is disgusting. Like, this isn't he got fucked over. This is entirely him.
Plan is because you guys supported the shit out of me for the past month with these marathons, combined with the money that my
I thought people didn't support him at all. Wasn't that the issue?
mom was able to afford. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This money came with conditions. She says, your dad and I are old. We can't work anymore. She said, we got to retire. This is it. You know, we can't do anything else. We can't help you if this happens again. So you have to commit to doing what you're saying you're going to do, because if you don't, we have nothing else. This is it. This is the end of it, you know. This is the end all be all. So
no, I bet you money they didn't say that. This seems to happen every 6 months. They say that and then they give him more money.
So the situation is, she gave me enough money to qualify for the payment plan. Now, she didn't pay the taxes. Fuck no. She doesn't have enough money to pay $17,000 in back taxes. She gave me enough money that combined with what she gave me, combined with what you guys gave me. All right.
Okay, I just want to read something Barry Big Plums Fishing said. I will accept people have affected his earnings by screwing with him, but his financial problems are 95% his fault. Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty consistent more than just about anybody else in saying it's fucked up what some people did to him, and it did hurt him, and it did kind of fuck him over. At the same time, the detractors didn't make him move across the country and buy a house he couldn't afford. They didn't make him continually like lease and buy cars he couldn't afford. They didn't make him buy 2 Wi-Fi connections. They didn't make him like spend all this like huge amount of money that he didn't have. If he had have just stayed in the condo, then things probably would have worked out, even if he did have a decline in revenue. It's like the false copyright strikes really did hurt him. They fucked him over. They destroyed his channel rankings. That's very true. People getting him like kicked off, getting some of his videos demonetized, getting the sponsorship deals canceled. Like that shit's all fucked up, and that did hurt him. but that doesn't change the underlying problems. You shouldn't have to be paying like, what is it, like, God knows how much this dude pays in monthly payments between his business loans, his credit cards, his 2 mortgages, his boat, like all his car lease. Like, we have no idea how much money this dude pays on a regular basis. So he just, like, no one should put themselves, like, the only people I think who should be in that amount of debt are maybe people who actually have like businesses that need capital and they need to take out money up front to fund their business. It's, I don't know.
Right? Is enough to now pay the government, and my tax attorney will work with the government to qualify for the payment plan. All right? So essentially, I am still going to have to try to make a lot of money because I'm going to have an additional new payment coming out of.
So in other words, nothing's going to change.
Of nowhere now. I don't even know what it's going to be. I was assuming probably $500 to $1,000 a month, but it depends on what the terms they give me for this payment plan.
I still don't get the whole thing because he said that he pays taxes quarterly, right? He pays a quarter of his yearly taxes every quarter. So how is his quarterly taxes $17,000? Like, I don't get how that's possible. That would mean he pays like $70,000 to $80,000 a year in taxes.
And what I'm going to have to do is, like I said, number one, dump the condo in Connecticut. Just don't pay it anymore till they foreclose. That's money in my pocket. And number two, make negotiations with all my credit card companies to pay like half. Because if I could pay half of what I'm paying now, that's a lot of money in my pocket. And between those two, I should...
Okay, Barry Big Plum Fishing says, once again, another good comment. Another thing, he begged for tax money last time and got gifted thousands of subs. Yeah, he got like 13 grand or something from Emerald 7. And then he said he put no money towards his taxes. Yeah, he put no money towards it. I mean, he's called his fans detractors for giving him so much money. Because they've given him so much money, it means that it raises his tax bracket and he has to pay more money.
Should be making enough to not only pay all my bills that I absolutely need to pay to keep the business going and keep this house, but also enough to pay my taxes.
So I get that I come from a background where my parents are fairly well off and I live with them and I don't really have that many expenses, and I'm employed, so my taxes just come off my paycheck. But is that like a normal thing people do? Pay their taxes using a credit card? Like, is that normally how people pay their taxes if they have back tax? I don't know. That just seems weird to me. It seems like if you were going to do that, you'd go and just take out a loan. Like an actual loan where the interest rate would be like, I don't know, 4 or 5% instead of like 30 to 50%. I always find it interesting when ads appear in these streams. Well, they are monetized, so I don't pretend that I don't try to make money off of this. But yeah, it's, I don't know.
All right? That's the deal, everybody. That's what's going on.
Oh, thank you, Barry.
So
Big
the
Plum.
good news
I appreciate
is
it.
This house is not at risk right now anymore because of the changes that
He just said that it was at risk.
I'm going to make, and the fact that both you guys and my mom helped me out. We're out of the water for the short term. Long term, who fucking knows what's going to happen? Because it seems like every time I get to this situation and something's going right, something creeps the fuck up out of the.
Like, if my parents need money, they have a line of credit with the bank that's, I think it's like 4 or 5%. It's not very much as far as loans go. So they'll dip into that from if they need, like, to make a big purchase, like renovations or something, and then they'll pay that off rather than put it on credit cards. Because, like, so long as you pay it back reasonably soon, you're not going to incur that much interest if it's only 4 or 5%.
Under the rug or crawls out of the toilet or shoots out of a monkey's ass at me and hits me. I mean, so many things have happened over the years with bullshit. And it's terrible, the stuff that's happened, but, you know, it's very simple. It has to happen. You know what I mean? It has to happen. So that's what I'm doing. And that has to start this week. This as early as this week.
Okay, but like, once again, how is he going to deal with this? Like, no, how are we? Let's say I believed Phil. Let's say that I'm going to give him money to help him get out of this current situation. We're going to have to wait 10 years to see if he actually delivers on anything he said he's going to deliver on. And like something weird happens with this dude every 6 months. Like his channel gets shut down, then it comes back. He starts KO gaming and then abandons it. He gets kicked off of Twitch and then he comes back on Twitch. This stuff just happens constantly. So we're supposed to believe, okay, so in 10 years from now, he's somehow going to have paid off all his debt, and then he's somehow going to get a job. So you just have to wait.
I'm going to contact my mortgage company for that condo in Connecticut and tell them that's it. 2 years ago, I tried to short sell my condo in Connecticut, and they denied me. Say, it's your fault. I gave you a chance. 2 years ago, I told you I was serious. I didn't have money for this stuff. You denied me, and now here we are 2 years later, and I owe $17,000 in back taxes that I didn't pay, so you're fucked.
Wow. I mean, what a dude. Like, I don't like banks either. I think they're bottom feeders. I don't like the banksters. But to be fair, like, Phil took out that money, and if he defaults on it, he's stealing from people. Like, the bank lent him money. They made a contract. He agreed to it. He didn't have to agree to it. He could have taken it from a different. He could have taken it from a different company. He could have. He could have, like, done something else. But he made that agreement, knowing what the terms were, knowing what the amount of money was, knowing what his property value was. And if he defaults now, he's stealing from the bank. It's not like something during the financial crisis where the banks deliberately fucked people and they lied to them and then they like put random clauses in that raised their interest rates later. Like, it's not like that. Because the banks fucked a lot of people during the financial crisis. Like, they did. And they fuck a lot of people on a regular basis. But this doesn't seem to be the case. This seems to be a case where somebody doesn't want to face the financial responsibilities, the reality of his actions. It's I don't want to be like Boomer Argent here and like Mr. Generic Conservative, but if you're going to make a promise like that, you got to keep it. It doesn't sound like the bank didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And like he just didn't. And he's stealing from the bank. At some points out in the chat, he's stealing from the federal government as well. Like, you can say taxes are too high or too low. You can say a lot of the tax money goes to stupid things like an excessively bloated defense department or programs, and taxes should probably be a lot lower, and spending should be reduced. Those are all fair things to say. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that a government needs to do, regardless of how libertarian or how socialist you are. Like things like, obviously, like roads, national defense, foreign relations, trade, environmental protection, like all these things that you have to at least contribute some money. You could say, okay, rather than like 30% marginal tax rate, you should have a 10% marginal tax, but you'd still have to pay some money. And he's getting benefits from all of these things. He's benefiting from America's military defending it. He's benefiting from America having foreign relations, from trade. Those video games he played mostly come from Japan. And if they didn't have trade relations with Japan, that whole thing would be a clusterfuck. So he's a free rider. And he's not like someone who is, I don't know, has severe autism or Down syndrome or cancer or something, where they're legitimately in a bad situation. Because like no one has more compassion than me towards people who legitimately have problems. If they have like I said, they have Down syndrome, they have cancer, they got into a bad car accident. those people deserve our compassion and our support, because they legitimately, regardless of what they do, they're going to have trouble making ends meet. And I think as much as possible in those circumstances, you try to provide, I don't know what it is, subsidies or tax breaks, or try to get it so those people can at least work a little bit, because there's no dignity in just taking a handout. But if we have to subsidize and support them, that's fine with me. That's just, we live in a society, but that's not Phil's thing. This man makes more money than like 95% of the population. And he didn't get, he got screwed over in some ways, but it was his own horrible decisions.
You're not getting any more money from me. So you can either just foreclose now and get the property immediately so you could sell it again and make money, or you could take 2 years and waste your time, but either way, I'm not paying you any more money. So I got to do that this week at some point. And, you know, my mom talked a lot of sense into me. I agree with her. And it's just something that eventually, inevitably what I'm hoping to happen here is let's say within 10 years, it has to be a 10-year transition. My credit gets ruined, but because I'm not paying the crazy credit card payments anymore. I'm not paying for this black hole.
Wait a minute, how is he not paying crazy credit card payments anymore? Oh yeah, because he's going to negotiate with his
condo in Connecticut. That money goes towards taxes and pays my basic bills, and now things finally start to go down to the point where, let's say in 10 years, now I don't have to do full-time streaming anymore, and I could go look for a job, and I could balance that with the streaming until eventually we phase out and I'm in a position where I'm healthy and I'm not overworking myself. That's the plan. I don't know how it's going to go. You know, I'm sure there's going to be more ups and downs along the way, but that's the plan. This trip to Connecticut was literally, in more ways than just the marriage, was a life-changing experience for me.
Okay, so I want to say another thing. So Phil complains about how difficult his job is, and obviously it's not like breaking rocks or being a stockbroker or that kind of thing. At the same time, though, it would be difficult to commentate on video games 8 hours or however long, 6 hours a day. Your voice would get super tired, you'd run out of shit to say, and you'd get bored. And that would be difficult. It wouldn't be difficult like for the same reason as other people, but it would be.
Okay.
So there's just another video I want to do. DSP. DSP. I want to just take a look at what he said about Emperor Swaggins. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see where it was. Because he really, really took this guy apart, who was one of his longest term supporters. And this actually really irritated me. Let's see here. I don't see. Has Mr. Stuff done something like this?
This is how I play the game.
So Left Sector, are you actually one of his mods? I'm just wondering if that's true or not. Because it's interesting. That's an interesting thing. And I try to be balanced when I'm doing this. I admit, like, I might give Phil more credit than he deserves, or I might be, like, excessively nice to him, or that kind of thing. But I just feel there should be some sort of... Let me see. I think I actually have that. Let me see if I have that voice clip. Let me just bring that up. Give me 1 second. Don't worry, I'm a professional. Here we go.
Is someone who's a NEET, is someone who's like a no-life, not in education, employment, or training is what NEET stands for.
There we go. But I kind of feel like someone has to try to present both sides to an issue, even if he doesn't deserve it. And I also think it's just more interesting for you, the viewer, than me just shitting on him. So.
Honest Troll cheered. He says, "Finish your podcast." My podcast was from Sunday, by the way. It covered my entire Connecticut trip. He says, "Great to know that your mom was able to talk some sense into you regarding your finances and the like. But this is things that fans and detractors alike have been telling you for months, and most of the time you shot them down. The difference here, the honest troll, and this is to be very, very honest with you, is my mom fully 100% understands my full perspective of everything because I tell her everything behind the scenes, including
No,
my
you
personal
don't.
life
You
and
lie to
everything.
her like crazy.
And she basically, you know, we had a long, drawn-out 2+ hour conversation about all of this that allowed me to kind of understand, okay, with how things are currently, this makes sense. Versus...
Stupid. Smart about morons. That's just...
Right, all along. Determined that in the long term, that he probably can't stream for the rest of his life full-time, that I was right all along. No, you weren't. Not at all. Because you had nothing whatsoever to do with that conversation over time, based on factors. Alright? Not based on someone sending me a random cheer somewhere, or, you know, saying something on stream chat. So, no. Sorry, not the same. Stop that. Okay. Last Rambo cheer. He says, I know you stopped playing VR games, but I miss your playthroughs of them, because they break the bold. I think you might say break the mold. Why not make a Patreon goal for it, since it'll be paid for, and not worry too much on Twitch interaction? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, because I'm going to be very honest with you, no one really is going to be pledging to Patreon to hit goals anymore.
Oh my god, this shocks me.
And I realized this, you know, last year, when I basically integrated all my stuff and changed it from Patreon to Twitch-based goals every month, that there's very little I'm going to be able to do to motivate anyone to pledge to Patreon anymore, besides people who just want to help on a monthly basis, or maybe get some of the perks. Doing events...
Let me see if this is... I'm just trying to find where a video... If anyone knows a video where he rants at Swaggins, let me know.
Oh, shit. And I got an offer, and I've been talking back and forth with a couple people. You guys know the details when I have them worked out. I do not have them worked out as of yet. I'll give you guys maybe a couple of weeks notice so that we can hype it up. You know, first time I've been on a show or anything in a long-ass time. So... Okay. No worries. People are saying, what about trolls? Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let's see the stream in a moment if you can't already. Period. So, I can't get viruses. You know what I mean? Like, I can't get shit on this computer. So, I don't bother updating stuff on it because it fucking would just screw the computer up. But, every once in a while, I'll get like a driver error or something that'll fuck me over. And that's what happened right there. Driver error. Oh, shit! Okay, then thank you, Tubar King, for 100-bit cheer.
Blackout.
Let's see here.
I got all those false copyright strikes for all that stupid shit, and I basically never bothered with it again. It's still, right now, it's still set up in my garage. The length of my garage, because I don't really have anywhere to put it. If I disassemble it, I guess I could throw it in a closet or something. But it's not a little screen that I could fit here. Plus, there's no room. There's literally, here's the wall.
Okay, let's go back.
It's based on Patreon, this will not work anymore. They just won't. If I was an on-demand content creator for YouTube, they would. But I'm a live streamer. My livelihood is based on Twitch interaction. That's what I focus on. So now saying, oh, I'm going to do an event randomly that has nothing to do with Twitch interaction, it's not going to work. It's going to fail miserably, and no one's going to support it financially on Patreon. That's number 1. Number 2, that would mean taking a time away from being an interactive streamer, which is what I need to focus on. I need to focus on being the interactive streamer. I'm putting out an interactive product that you guys like, so you'll come back every day. Oh, all
Didn't
of a
he
sudden,
just
randomly
say he was
Phil for a
gonna
week is not going to pay
diversify his
attention to stream
content?
chat? That's not going to fly. You know what I mean? It's just not. So, sorry, PSVR games. Let me put it this way. If there were a killer app, if there were a game on PlayStation VR that was so good that it was a must-play, cannot miss there that no one ever heard, that I don't do VR. Pretend like it's important, so the sweaty fucking forehead and sweaty eyeballs, fucking streams you guys have ever seen in your life.
People who are doing this for a living are much, much younger than me. I'll be honest, the older I get, the later, so I'm 37 years old, I'm an old fart, and I have these feelings that are very different from what you guys maybe believe and feel. And what can I say? That's, I guess that's it.
You know, like, there was a time when I was making ridiculous amounts of money on YouTube, and I could afford to buy every stupid accessory and every dumb gimmick, and I would basically rip them all a new asshole. that was great for that era, but that era has passed. I don't have this kind of crazy disposable income to drop on shit. I just don't have money to buy VR games willy-nilly that I'm going to play a couple times and never play again, and no one's going to care about. You know, I don't have money for this shit. And I want to do interactive fun streams of games I enjoy, so the answer is no. Rightboard Marker. Subscribe for 4 months. Just keep doing what you're doing, Phil. Don't let financial issues get you down. At this point, I'm done talking about them. If you haven't noticed, there's no reason for me to talk about them anymore, except you guys keep bringing them up. So the less you bring it up, the less I'll talk about them. We're back to normal. Hodor Targ cheer. He says, I'm happy for your mom watching your son get married. But every mom also wants grandkids. Guess what? Kat and I don't want kids. It's that simple. You know, I'm old. I'm 37 years old. I'm an old, wrinkly grandpa already here. I'm already at the age where I should be drinking prune juice and, you know, wearing Depends. I can't be having kids now. This is nuts. I can barely hold my continence every day.
Wow, that's... Thanks, Phil.
All right, but no. We have no plans for kids.
Picture.
All right, we have no plans for kids.
No plans.
All right, we're up to 498 subs, guys. This is good. This is good. The reason this is good is because we lost a ton of subs in the week I was away. But in the 2 days I've been back, we almost got them all back. Because I believe I was at, like, low 500s when I went on break. So... we've got most of the lost subs back already. And by the way, with all the new content, you know, Mortal Kombat 11 and Days Gone coming out, I get we're going to get a spike, which will be good. So,
Problems in the back of my head about money. I'm just losing my mind.
I'm so mentally fucked in my head. The Void just tipped me $1 and says, you should make a Scrubs sent to ban world counter for people banned that day to discourage detractors. Listen, some people celebrate that stuff. I don't. You know, for me, one of the most successful days would be a day I don't have to ban anybody. A day when everyone just came by and had fun and no one came in to be a dick and insult others or insult me or derail the stream chat or...
Oh, okay, this is me, not Snark.
Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
Exactly.
You know, a day when we could all just have a nice chill day and no one has to be moderated is probably the best ideal day. I don't know if we'll ever have a day like that, quite frankly, because we know human nature is to just fuck with people. But, you know, I don't celebrate that stuff.
I'm hypocritical. I'm just going to ban. All right. There's a nice lean-in manual ban for the end of the night. Santiago-san, I don't ignore people who don't attach money to their messages, but I purposely ignore idiots like you who like to say I do, and then I ban them. Like this. It's a lot of fun to lean forward and do that lean-in ban on assholes like you. Fuck you! Permanent ban! Screw you!
So no, I'm not going to do it. Oh, a counter of how many people were banned today. Because the other thing is, all that's going to do, that's going to incite people to make more troll accounts and say more ridiculous things to get banned, to make the ban counter go up. So, sorry, I'm much smarter than that, and I'm not doing it. Okay? And Adolf, tip me $1. Says, is there no chance for you and Swaggins to patch things up? I didn't have a falling out with Swaggins. I had no falling out with Swaggins.
Oh, I really hate you, but I cannot live without you if I try. I can't imagine life without you, ice cream. You're so creamy, and I wish you never ended, ever. I can't imagine if you ended, ice cream. Ice cream, I love you.
I'm trying to remember if it's Mr. Stuff or who the person was who posted the thing where he was trashing his mods. Okay, there's Mr. Stuff. Mr. Stuff doesn't have it. Let's see if Mighty D has it.
A fucking fanboy. I mean it. You gotta fucking stop, dude. You've got to stop. You gotta start fucking being a normal person and stop kissing ass, dude.
Maybe it was so much Julius Cruz.
Stop being a drone. Stop being a fucking sheep. Get the fuck out of here. Stop being a drone. Stop being a fucking sheep.
everything is on his end. Everything's been self-contained completely on his end. He never came to me to talk about anything. He just completely went off the rails by himself. So, all his problems are internal. If he ever solves his problems and wants to come back and talk to me and consider, coming back or whatever, that's fine. But everything that's happened is on his side. Like, there's never been, I'm angry at Swaggins, and now I don't want him to be on the streams or be a mod anymore. I'm not. None of this all happened on his end. So that's what I mean when I hear weird shit about, he's angry at you and stuff. He didn't say a word to me, and, this isn't anything that we ever talked about, so he's got to solve his own shit,
Sorry for fucking what? This is a situation where, once again, I've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever, and I'm getting punished like I did, Because I've done nothing wrong, I make mistakes. I'm a fallible human. But most of the things that happen to me, I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Zero. For something I didn't do wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. Bye, and you won't be missed. We don't need influences like you in here. Bye.
Wet Farts! Wow, a guy named Wet Farts just tipped me $5.55 as congrats on beating Sekiro. Well, thank you, Wet Farts. I appreciate...
Okay, here we go. I found it. I had left
Wings
a
of
comment
Redemption
on this,
fan
actually.
cheer. He says, why did a few of your mods quit
Here we
Phil? Disagreements. It's very simple. They did disagreements. They felt they didn't want to mod anymore. And that's fine. Moderation is a option, not optional, but a voluntary thing is what I meant to say. And if at any time, mod feels, I can't live up to my duties, or I don't think I want to do this anymore, they can. In particular, I can tell you, being very frank, Swaggins, basically since January, has had issues with me, because during my Resident Evil 2 playthrough, at the end of the playthrough, he screwed up and said the wrong thing in stream chat, and then he tried to copy and paste the thing he said wrong multiple times, as evidence like he didn't.
Okay, let's see here.
Basically, he was telling me to fight the final boss in an incorrect way that didn't work, and I got frustrated because I was trying to beat the game within a certain time frame that I had to beat it, and I would have appreciated no advice than bad advice. And he didn't like the fact that I called him out on stream for it, but he never really spoke directly to me about it. Then, as you know, Sekiro came out, and he is a humongous, ginormous, ultimate fan of Sekiro and From Software in general, and he loves the game, he loves the combat, he loves everything about it, and I don't. I like a lot of stuff about Sekiro, but I prefer Dark Souls combat. I've basically criticized the game a lot of times during the game. And even though I would admit sometimes I'm over the top with my criticisms and I end up kind of being unfair, I completely agree. I know that when I get angry, I get unfair. I believe that I've had a lot of valid criticisms. All right, a lot of valid criticisms of Sekiro. Some things that I've had on screen. Cameras getting locked in a corner, can't see shit. According to Swaggins, none of those are valid. It's just because I suck, which is stupidity. I mean, I have it on camera, these things happening, and most people would admit the game's not perfect, but for some reason, he just would not. He just basically said everything I said wrong about the game, was because I suck at the game or whatever. Then later on, he rolled back on that and said, oh, no, I didn't mean, that's not true. To which case, I said some extreme things about him too, and basically said he's an ultimate fanboy of From Software, and he won't listen to any.
Like, why did he have to do that? Swaggins was one of his greatest long-term. Why does he have to do this stream and trash the guy and just slag him publicly? Like, why does he do this? There's no reason for it. I don't know if the way you window is you can see my comment. I said, ever notice Phil has the need to badmouth and slander every single person he has ever had dealings with or known after he's done with them. Like, he could have just said, Swaggins and I had a disagreement and he decided he didn't want to be a mod anymore. There was zero reason to drag him through the mud like this.
Anything that I say about the game. Basically, we went back and forth, right? But it was all public. This is the thing. This is all stuff that happened on streams during gameplay streams.
Why?
Then he disappears. And hasn't been here for like 2 weeks and says nothing. So you tell me, and then all of a sudden, in stream chat, actually was moderator chat earlier today, I said, I'd like to know what's going on with Swaggins, considering the guy's been MIA, and you got people, talking about rumors and stuff in the stream chat about where is he or whatever. I can't answer it. I don't know where the hell he is. And basically he came back and said exactly what I said. That since January, since the Resident Evil 2 thing, and now the Sekiro thing, and all the drama, he's had enough. So, okay, fine, bye. Appreciate everything you've done, but, oh well, I guess that's it. It was your choice. You never had the mod to begin with, and, you know, you decide that it's enough, it's enough. Goodbye. Good luck. Okay.
Okay, I just want to read Swaggins' quote. All over it. Sekiro is an example of that. My time is valued elsewhere. Twitch should be a place to escape problems, not listen to someone else's. The amount of money talk has been such a turnoff and will not help with long-term growth. Many have contacted me questioning whether you are even telling the truth at this point, and generally say they are tired of all the taxes talk. I'm talking about actual fans here, not detractors. I tell them we can only take your word for it at the end of the day.
So then moving on, you know, Lord Lamb, basically, I guess doesn't believe me when it comes to my story about my trip. And he basically says if I don't feel that I have, you know, faith in someone, I don't want to moderate for them. And I said, I actually respect that. Goodbye.
No,
I respect that, you know. So there you go. Lord Lamb.
You know what I say to that?
Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
Oh, someone donated to me? Oh, it didn't pop up. Let me just see. Sorry about that. What was it? I must have missed it. Don't worry, I'm a professional streamer. What was the thing you wanted me to read out? I'm sorry. Okay, you can just post it and I'll read it out. I'm sorry about that. What was I saying again?
Thinks I'm a liar or something.
What's your opinion on Denmark? As far as European countries go, I think Denmark's not in a bad state. The Danish People's Party has a lot of power. I don't think it's going to be that bad as far as it goes. I just have this to say about Swaggins.
Ooh, she's tsundere as fuck.
Thing when it comes to what I'm telling you guys about my trip to Connecticut. If he absolutely does not believe in me, then he should not be a moderator. He's right. And so I actually 100% respect the way he went about it. Basically just said, you know, I don't want to be a mod anymore. I said, okay. And that was it. That was pretty easy, right? So there you go. And there's your answer. Pretty simple, right? And that's the thing. You know, moderators are moderators. They're not here to get a paycheck. This isn't their job. They're doing it out of their own volition. And you know, it's if they feel that it's gotten to a point where they're not having fun anymore, right? Then they have the right to say, okay, I'm out of here. And that's fine. In fact, I'm happy now that we got resolution because the Swaggins thing, he hasn't been around for weeks moderating at all. So no one knew what the hell was going on with this guy. And now we got an answer, and that's good. That's fine. It's fine to know what's happening. Okay? King of Golf HD cheered. He says, your camera humping a wall and getting stuck on bosses is pretty easy to see. It's hard to say it's not a valid criticism of Sekiro. And, you know, it's something that's always been a problem with From Software games. But that's the thing. I say that, and then someone like Swaggins would say, well, no, that's not a problem. That's something to overcome, and you need to adjust to it, and you need to... Like, no. Sorry, it's a problem.
Phil, you know what you need to do?
Put down the Nintendo. Put down the Nintendo.
You need to put down the Nintendo.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Exactly.
It's stupid. If I die to a boss, that's legit. If I die to my own stupidity in gameplay, that's legit. If I die to a camera stuck on the boss of the wall, that's a flaw of the game, and you shouldn't have to find some kind of a workaround for the problem with the camera. The camera should just fucking work. And it's funny because the other day we were actually all in here when I was playing Sekiro brainstorming stuff. We were like, wow, what if the camera panned out or had a top-down view in situations like that where it could go through the wall, you can see some transparency. So at least you can see where you are and what you're doing, not that you get crunched against a wall or you can't see where you're moving. And the next thing you know, the camera's completely stuck and you're screwed, right? So if we could sit here and brainstorm solutions, then obviously there's a problem to solve. I'm just saying. So there you go. 300 bits. And he says... the people that don't believe you are really biased and irrational. It's that simple.
Sorry, I just want to play this.
There is much money to be made.
I mean, here's the deal. If you were someone who watched my content and I went on this trip and then I announced that I got married during the trip, and your initial reaction is, wow, he scammed people, you probably shouldn't watch me anymore.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, why were you watching in the first...
That's a really good way of dealing with things, Phil, is telling people to not watch. Like, you could just ignore it. Like, if people, like, attack me in the... Like, if people post really negative comments, I don't feel like responding to them. I just don't respond. I just ignore them. I don't tell people to just fuck off and not watch my content. Ignoring things in the internet and just not responding is a very viable way of dealing with these issues.
First place. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the kind of person you think I am, I've been around for over 10 years doing this as content creator, and I'm pretty sure that with the vast majority of stuff that I've showed everyone, it's that that's not the kind of person I am. If you actually don't trust me, why are you here watching my content on a daily basis anyway? You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is, I think a lot of people who don't believe me are the people who hate me anyway for various stupid reasons. So that's the truth of the matter. Now, you're going to have people who maybe did like my stuff, but now, I don't know, you know, or maybe they just don't want to be a part of the drama. Maybe they know the fact that even if I'm telling the truth that, you know, trolls are going to be dicks to me now because of this going on, and they don't want to be a part of it anymore. I get that. I totally get that. You know, like I said, I respect Lord Lamb for coming out and being honest with me and upfront, rather than being like, oh, well, now that this happened, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be one of these guys who holds it in, doesn't say shit, and has hidden resentment towards you. And then 5 months later, I'll do something really malicious towards Phil because I'm still a moderator, versus I'll just tell him now that I don't want to be a moderator. Okay, good. That's very respectable. And I appreciate that, because it's called being honest. And
FromSoft games do have a lot of technical problems. It is a fanboy thing to claim that they aren't. The fact that people can beat Dark Souls 2 in 15 minutes using glitches, I think, says something.
Honesty, in my opinion, goes a long fucking way. Even if it means I'm being honest, I don't trust you, that's good. At least you told me. I respect that tremendously, you know? Okay. Sean to me $1 asked me, why am I insulting Wings of Redemption? I'm not. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I haven't mentioned him at all today, so don't know what the hell you're saying. Whiteboard Marker Charity said, here's some bits. Hopefully not streaming for a week wasn't too much of a hit to the bills. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It sucked. Like, that's essentially...
I thought his mother gave him a bunch of money, so wouldn't it have helped the bills?
Thousands of dollars. Not exaggerating. That I didn't make. Because there were no videos on YouTube, no revenue whatsoever on a stream. So I'm hoping to make it up. I am. I'm actually hoping that between now and the end of the month, I can make up for a lot of that lost time and money. So I guess we'll see. Ow.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think that covers everything I wanted to cover. I'm not going to drag this stream out any longer. So, yeah, Phil is completely fucked. It's entirely self-inflicted. And he threw his like most loyal support, one of his most loyal supporters, under the bus, because he just had some like petty falling out with him, and there was no reason for that. There's no reason for him to behave the way he is, and it's just going to backfire on him yet again. So anyways, thank you for participating. Thank you for watching me, and everybody have a happy Easter. God bless.